So you flew in, you're in New York, what are you in New York for? For work stuff? Or?
So I just came from Argentina. I finished a retreat in Argentina where 30 people from all over the world gathered in a little island in the rivers of Buenos Aires. We rented this place that looks like you're in Vietnam. It's unbelievable.
Like a jungle type.
Fauna and flora. And we rented this place where we gather Ayurvedic doctors, hands-on healers, massage therapists, tapping experts, Wim Hof breathing experts, biohackers, you name it. We have from the local healer community, we have some of the best people
in South America.
And we invite them. And I either have a history with them or we create a history together.
Mm-hmm.
And while I put people on a gut repair program, gut repair and detoxification enhancement program, people go through all these other modalities and they go finding healing. And some things happens that are incredible.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about what you're doing. I'm following along, just knowing you and talking to you and seeing on social media. I mean, what's the name of the retreats? What are you calling it?
We're calling it the Clean Retreats.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you know a lot about, well, let's get into the retreats. I want to go into the different healing modalities you have seen work and sort of curating these healing out of the box experience for people. But can we set the stage for people? Because you have a very traditional, conventional, esteemed training, and then you are now a healer in the most unconventional ways, right? So what did that journey look like for you? How did you make that leap into this space that you're in now?
Ever since I was a little boy, I wanted to help people feel better. And the obvious choice was to become a doctor. So I became one. I went to medical school and I did all this stuff. But then after medical school, during my training years, when I went to New York to do internship, residency, fellowship in internal medicine and cardiology, and it was all busy and crazy, I realized that, yes, I love medicine and I understand how hospitals work and the value that they have. But I wanted to delve more into a completing act of healing, right? Because in the hospital, you go, they cut you, they put you on pills, and you leave there in a very artificial equilibrium of drugs that are pushed and chemicals that are, that are changing your biology. And that, to me, is not healing. Healing is when the body is doing what it knows what to do perfectly well, in harmony, and that is what I like to create. And as in functional medicine, we always say, you only have to remove the obstacles and provide whatever is lacking for things to fall into place, right?
Yeah.
And you never know how this is going to fall into place. I'm talking about the retreats. So we put all these things together and people have incredible experiences.
Yeah, really. So how far into that conventional career did you make this shift? And was that shift difficult to say, I'm gonna go into a deeper level of healing for people?
Yeah, it was difficult, and it was parallel with my own healing journey.
Okay.
Right? Because one thing is, you're in the hospital, you're working, you're running around like a chicken with no head. You're putting pacemakers and Swan-Ganz catheters, and you're on call 3 nights in a row, and that is kind of like the model of medicine that I was trained and kind of respected for, right? But then I realized that this environment, the hospitals, even though incredibly beneficial and good thing that we have them.
Yeah.
Because if you break a bone, if you tore an artery, if you twist an intestine, if you get an infection, you can go there and chisel and hammer and stitch things together, use antibiotics and all kinds of chemicals, and kind of save a life, as it were, right? And really important.
Yeah.
What I'm interested I'm interested in the healing aspect of it. So I left the hospital system, and I now take my patients to nature and
You do.
and see what happens.
You
there.
do. You're always in the middle of somewhere tropical and beautiful, healing people. Did people think you were crazy when you made that shift? Like other colleagues, maybe, or family members?
People still think I'm a little crazy, right? So, why would a cardiologist, with the potential of making so much money, because in the United States, it's kind of like a ranking,
You're in New York, right?
Cardiologists are among the top money makers, and I was trained in New York, so I was expected to join a really successful practice and become. When I left all that to do what I like to do.
Yeah.
So people still think I'm crazy.
And I love that you're unashamed and unafraid and brave to talk about things that you know work and you know transform lives. And no matter what the orthodoxy says, like you can't talk about this as a traditional doctor. You've talked about it, and not only talk about it now, but you've talked about it for years when it was even more fringe or polarizing. Have you seen it improve over the years? Sort of I would say the convergence of Western and alternative medicine, let's call it that, or is it the same or worse? What's the lay of the land as history?
We're going through a crazy time right now, right? And politically, with RFK Jr. and everything that's happening there, which, by the way, is very exciting to me, because
me too.
This is actually what is needed, right? I wrote about all this in 2008.
Yeah.
So I've been blowing the whistle on chemicals and the harms of ultra processed foods for years.
Yeah.
And finally we're getting somewhere. What I see, I'm an optimist. I think it's positive.
Yeah.
And I hope it goes that way.
Yeah. And it's interesting to see, because almost like the system's unsustainable, right? I mean, the system as we do it is unsustainable. So it's interesting to see at least the beginnings of the potential of some reform. The pushback's pretty intense, but how would you expect anything else, right?
Yeah. And then you see things like, I am so proud of your work with Kellogg's, and
Thanks,
I show everybody that's my brother. But in a way, it's kind of too little too late, because we're fighting for Kellogg's not to put chemicals in coloring agents, right? But everything else on the Kellogg's cereal is garbage.
Yeah.
Even if they take out the chemicals, the dyes, what is left is garbage and is devoid of nutrients and filled up with poisonous chemicals.
Yeah.
So what are we really talking about?
Yeah.
It's kind of
and people had said that, and obviously I think everybody there, nobody eats Kellogg's, nobody feeds that to their family. So that's a question that we get. Well, why would we do this? I think the bigger point is that we have to start somewhere, and B, there's so many people that aren't into health, and 30 million kids depend on food from the public school system. So they don't have a choice. They're basically, these are your options, and they're colorful things that are marketed to them they're colored with fruits and vegetable coloring in other countries. You're absolutely right. It is a drop in the bucket, but it is something that I think if we can at least have the same as Canada and Australia, and we can color our cereals with fruits and vegetable colorings versus artificial dyes. We know those artificial dyes are linked to behavioral issues, and we have an epidemic rise of behavioral issues. I mean, 1 in 5 American kids have a diagnosable mental, emotional, or behavioral issue, that this is at least, let's start at least moving in the right direction, right? But I still would never advocate, even if once they do, if you have the choice, don't have these processed cereals, artificial dyes or not.
I mean, what you're eating has less nutritional value than the box it comes in. Mm-hmm. You know, you eat the box, you get more
fiber,
more nutrients than if you eat the cereal itself.
That's good. I actually, I asked you to come to Kellogg's with us, like schlepping out to Michigan. You were busy, but I wanted you there next time.
Yeah, I wanted to go there. I love disrupting.
It's raising conversations, right? Sparking conversations.
Yes.
So, all right. So let's go to the early days of clean. You mentioned sort of that book in the early 2000s, talking about these. Like, what sparked the idea of clean? I see it as like the original godfather of cleanses in the modern way. Obviously, you're bringing ancient principles in a modern way. Do you see it that way? Because you were the first in my mind.
So I'm not sure that I was the first, but what happened was when I was finishing my training in cardiology and internal medicine, and I got sick, and I started going to my colleagues for things like irritable bowel syndrome, depression, anxiety, allergies, and they were giving me prescription medications for all these ailments.
Yeah.
I was getting home and I was looking at them. I was thinking to myself, I'm not going to go on these medications. This is not what I want for myself. And this is not what I want for my patients. So I started looking for a different solution. And it took me a long time until I found the practices and principles of functional medicine, detoxification, gut repair, and I started experimenting with these things on myself, developed a way to completely restore all my functions. I went allergy free, completely depression free, and irritable bowel syndrome free, without any medications, just by doing these things. And then I started using it with my friends, my family, and my patients. So I developed a really easy, user-friendly way of people to do, and it's difficult to say today, what is it? Is it a reset? Is it a gut repair program? Is it a detox program? Well, it's all of the above, depending on who you talk to and depending how accurate you want to be from a functional medicine point of view, because there is no gut repair without enhancing detoxification.
Yeah.
There is no enhancing detoxification without balancing hormones. So everything, all the systems are connected in there, and they start correcting together.
Yeah.
Anyways, I developed this program, and I've developed a community and a support system because I wanted to create or recreate the possibility that people could do it in their home, as if they were in my clinic, but without having to be there. And you have kind of the same thing, right? You know that if you put them in some kind of program that you guide, they're going to get better. But they don't, they don't have to come all the way to Pittsburgh, right? So that's what I created. I created the program as a way to put people on a functional medicine, detox enhancing, gut repairing, hormonal balancing
protocol. Yeah. And that's how you said it better than I did, but you made it user friendly. And what I also love about what you've done with Clean over the years is that you're constantly taking it to the next level as there's new iterations and new formulations. I mean, how has it changed over the years? And like, what's the newest version look like at this point?
So really exciting stuff, right? Because because over the years I've had a few different partners, and with each partner comes strengths and weaknesses. Now these partners, they really believe in what I do, because most of their family members have gone on the clean program and have had incredible experiences. So that's how they got really into it, right? And they believe so much, and they have a factory of supplements that they say, you know what, just go wild. So for example, something as simple as magnesium that everybody's supplementing, right? And you look around in the market and you see that there's magnesium glycinate, magnesium oxide, magnesium calcium, so all these different types of magnesium, right? But the truth is that in nature, it's in many ways.
Yes,
it's not in one way. So I created a magnesium that has 6 different types of magnesium, right?
It's amazing.
So more towards a natural.
Yeah, I love that.
A natural way of
the synergistic types
oxide, glycinate, bisglycinate, taurate, malate, all of
and they all have their own strong suits with magnesium. I guess for people that are like, oh yeah, I heard about magnesium, or I'm taking it, but they don't know why, right? What are some of the reasons why something is as essential as magnesium? Why is magnesium so important?
Magnesium is important because it's a mineral that participates in at least 400 molecular reactions that we know of for basic metabolism, right? And it's depleted in our soils. So our foods don't deliver magnesium to us. So we need to get magnesium a little extra.
I think that's a good point. The people that say, well, what if I eat just nutrient dense foods? And obviously you and I are both advocates of that. But I think you highlighted an important point here, is that our soil and our food nutrient density and our microbiome and the ability to absorb these nutrients aren't what it once was. Can you highlight that? Like why the case for appropriate supplementation?
Yes. What happens now is that we are not anywhere near what nature designed things to be, right? So we're trying to catch up with nature, and supplementation is a great way of helping that, because best case scenario is with magnesium. If you're depleted of magnesium and you get a good source of magnesium to supplement yourself with, it is actually really helpful, and we see it all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're able to innovate with the sort of the new iteration and kind of take clean to the next level.
Like for example, tell me what you think about this.
Yeah, tell me.
I used to put people on probiotics and Saccharomyces boulardii. Two of Saccharomyces boulardii, obviously for the listeners, is a mycobiome. It's a
beneficial yeast.
A beneficial yeast, and it controls the growth of
Candida.
So you can take it as a supplement, as a probiotic, right? I used to give people probiotics and Saccharomyces boulardii as 2 different products. Now I combine them.
Amazing.
On our probiotic, which is called gut biome. We combine both of them.
Amazing.
And it's just little things like that make just like so much simpler.
Yeah, so it's like 1 pill versus 2, and simplifying it.
These are the little things that I'm like always trying to get better and make sure that the people that do the program really benefit from.
Yeah, get the best results. I love that. So how many days is it? If someone's like, okay, I've never done a clean program, what's it look like?
So clean is a 21-day program. And the original program is mostly based on principles and practices that enhance detoxification, right? And it has to do with liver and cytochrome P450 enzymes, and all of those things that we know have to do with the pathways of detoxification. But later, I really understood that detoxification alone was not doing it.
Yeah.
That what was happening also was that the gut was getting repaired when I see these transformations on people, right?
Yeah.
So I started really paying attention to that, and I started seeing that actually combining a detoxification program with a gut repair program makes a lot of sense, because there are a lot of things that they have in common, right?
Yeah, totally.
And really nailing the gut repair aspect of it, because everybody's talking about gut repair these days, and gut here and gut there, and you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
But the problem that I see is that not all advice or programs or whatever people end up doing is actually effective in repairing your gut.
Yeah.
So you may think, oh, I've done that, I've been there, and it didn't work for me, and you're going and you're doing something else, right? When really all you needed was a sound gut repair program,
a well-rounded
and
one.
there are things like for example, there's so many opinions today, but for example, I've been focusing on gut repair exclusively, while everybody else is doing so many other things. I just stick to gut repair, and I'll tell you this: grains are not a good thing to consume when you are trying to repair your gut of any type.
Yeah.
Some say, well, non-glutinous grains are fine, and for example, L-glutamine. That's a very important limiting factor nutrient that has to do with the tight junctions in the body, and the formation of the hyperpermeable condition of leaky gut, right? It has to be taken on an empty stomach. And it's these little differences, these little details, that when you put them together may not seem as much, but make the difference between a successful and a non-successful gut repair program.
So you're taking the guesswork out, and you've sort of really honed in on all the sort of science-backed therapies, tools, things to avoid, things to bring in, focusing on gut health, which you see, and I agree with you, really the seminal of area of healing. It's the most upstream, right? It's like if you talk about root causes, the gut is there's sort of gut centric upstream drivers of a lot of different health issues. So I'd love to talk to you about the grain piece. People ask us, right, this a lot. Is it the grain? Is it what we've done to the grain? Is it like stressing an already stressed out system because it's like we're over consuming it? Like, what's your take on that? Like what grain is now versus maybe what it was thousands of years ago?
So it's a really good question.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend that I know the answer fully to that question, but I come at it from a very practical point of view. What works and what doesn't work?
Yeah.
What do I see people getting better from and not getting better from?
Yeah.
And when I eliminate grains completely, I see people getting better.
No, I agree with you fully.
Then
you can do. What do you think? Do you think people should be off grains entirely because of that, or is there a way to bring it back, or is everybody different?
So what I think is that during the episodes where their gut is repairing, you have to do everything you can to get an edge, because it's a very delicate system. We think about but I don't know if you scuba dive and you see this anemone, this like jelly kind of creatures, right? And I have something.
Yeah, go get it. Okay, so you pulled out of your carry-on bag. Now, if I had a nickel for every time I traveled with a massive, what is this? What is this we're looking at for people that are watching this on
an
YouTube
anatomical
video?
model of microvilli in the intestine.
Okay.
And I take it everywhere because an image speaks more than 1,000 words.
If TSA could, I wonder what TSA says about this.
I always take this with me to my retreats and to see to show my patients, because once you see this, you never get it out of your head.
Yeah.
Right. This is anatomical model of the microvilli in your intestine. Right.
Okay.
Now this is the wall of the intestine. Here is where the food is being processed and digested, and through here is being absorbed into the blood stream, right? So you have a huge circulatory system in the gut. And then you have this part, the yellow part, which is the nerves. So you have a nerve ending within each microvilla, right? Now, think that this surface in your gut is 1.5 tennis court big. 1.5 tennis courts, right?
Yeah.
And imagine a tennis court with cables every millimeter.
Yeah.
What would the cable in the end up? It would be like a like a tractor cable. So this is a very clear visual way of people seeing, wow, I do have a huge nervous system in the gut. I do have an incredibly big circulatory
it's so
system.
Sophisticated.
I have all these immune system cells in the gut. All systems meet in the gut, right?
Yeah, and the tight junctions or kind of governing.
The tight junctions, I call them the Achilles heel of humanity, because that is where the confusion starts happening.
Yeah, so let's go there. Let's go to the tight junctions and why it is the Achilles heel. What's happening?
So this is what's happening.
Yeah.
We have to incorporate the external world and make it us. So I have to grab proteins and fats and building blocks from the outside to make myself, right? Now, where do I do that? I do that from food. I break down food into its minimum components. Its minimum building blocks are amino acids, fatty acids, and simple carbohydrates. And that is what happens during digestion. You break it down.
Yeah.
And the reason that you break it down is because the immune system works by recognizing surfaces.
Yeah.
The HLA system. The human leukocyte antigen system.
Yeah.
The HLA system is a system of recognizing surfaces.
Yeah.
And let's just say that each cell of the immune system has a little scanner and bzz, 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 is scanning surfaces. And there is a list, like an Akashic record list of all the surfaces that are yours. That when the cell of your immune system scans that surface, nothing happens. But if there's a surface that is scanned that is strange, foreign, then we have to build an attack, because this is danger. So the thing is, because the cells of the wall should be tight together, nothing should be going through without active absorption. Surfaces in the intestines of undigested food, bacteria, funguses, whatever is going on in the intestines should not be exposed to the immune system and the blood.
Right. And that, for people that don't know, that's one cell thick, right? that
one cell thick.
The gut lining, for people that aren't seeing this on video, they're just listening to this on streaming. the gut lining for people. Can you describe it for people? So the gut, like basically the barrier between your intestines and the bloodstream and the gut's immune system is only 1 cell thick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how delicate it is.
That's how delicate it is, and that's why I call it
The Achilles
the
heel.
Achilles heel
Yeah.
of humanity. And this is where autoimmunity begins.
Mm-hmm.
This is where inflammation begins.
Mm-hmm.
This is where for example, if you're if the nervous system in your gut
Mm-hmm.
is reacting and adapting to certain things,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to have the energy and the resources to create the neurotransmitters that it should be creating.
Yeah.
Right. So
95% of serotonin is made there.
everything
50% of dopamine is made there.
Everything starts getting
Dysregulated.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you end up with female hormone dysregulation or autoimmune problems or any chronic disease.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is 99, if not 100% of the chronic diseases of the modern world, you can greatly improve or completely resolve by actually putting your full attention on creating the conditions for the body to repair its own gut.
Yeah, exactly. So what are some of the tools that you're using? You mentioned L-glutamine. What are some of your favorite botanicals, herbs, compounds that they're getting for these 21 days that are supportive of gut health as a whole?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the most important thing is what not to eat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What are we avoiding, right?
Yeah.
And so we are avoiding everything with chemicals.
Yeah.
Everything that's ultra processed, that's even processed,
Yeah.
or that's minimally processed.
Yeah.
No process.
Get the mic a little closer to
Yeah.
you.
No processed stuff.
Yeah.
Just real food as nature intended it to be. Right?
Yeah.
But then you have a lot of interesting things that can help, right? Because you could do this in nature, just natural stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it gets a little harder. For example, there isn't enough L-glutamine in a steak to give you enough L-glutamine to repair a broken set of tight junctions. So taking L-glutamine really helps.
Yeah.
And I do that with B vitamins and magnesium and probiotics but the truth is that the supplements kind of play a secondary role. The most important thing is creating the conditions for things to work.
Well, and when you kind of marry, I think, these botanical herbs, micronutrients, etc., paired with the food changes, I think it is sort of a cascade effect, right? It's like a entourage effect, if you will, of it.
Totally.
Yeah. All right, so let's go into these retreats you're doing, the clean retreats. They're in South America right now, right? Are you going to ever have you have to come up. You can have one in Pennsylvania if you want.
Yeah,
we're
looking to do them all over.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'd love to go to one. So what are the type of healers you have there? You're focusing on gut health. You're putting them through the protocol we're talking about here. But what are some of the other healers that you've had at the different retreats?
One of the modalities that has blown my mind lately in the past 4 retreats that I did was something called family constellations.
Okay.
In which the whole dynamic of a family is explored from the point of view of one participant.
Yeah.
And people are chosen from the group to represent different family members, and things are spoken, and it's very intense. And I think it has the potential, and I've seen it really kind of heal things that were difficult to heal. Like, for example, in the last retreat, there was this woman, she comes to me and she said, well, I have a hardcore diagnosis of SIBO, and I have all the symptoms, and I get bloated, and I get constipated, and I get this, and I get this, and da. And as we're speaking, she's telling me all her SIBO symptoms, but more than anything, what I realize is that she's a little bit confused about things in relationships. And listen, I'm no specialist. I'm no constellator. I'm no, but I've seen a couple of things, and so I said to her, maybe what you have is not so much SIBO as some unresolved trauma.
Mhm.
And she looked at me, and next thing, the family constellation session started,
Mhm.
and she had a major breakthrough.
Mhm.
And this woman who had really bad SIBO,
Mhm.
she was diagnosed. She blew the
The
gas.
placebo
The
breath test.
gases were lighting up.
Yeah.
The whole thing. She had the prescription for neomycin.
Mhm.
Yeah. What I did is one of the first things I realized also was that she was constipated,
Mhm.
and so I gave her a little colonic machine that
Mhm.
I carry with me sometimes for my patients.
Another thing TSA is like, okay,
Yeah.
Alejandro's flying
Well,
again.
it's called Implantorama,
Okay.
and you can buy them online. It's a
Yeah.
little bottle,
Yeah.
and it has a whole device
Yeah.
thing, and you can do coffee enemas,
Yeah.
and it's life saving for
Yeah.
so many people. So I gave this woman one of them,
Mhm.
and after the constellations and the colonic machine,
Mhm.
I'm telling you, 70% of her SIBO symptoms had completely gone.
Wow.
By day 5, she was completely fine. She didn't need any medications anymore.
Amazing. That just shows you like sort of that gut brain emotional axis, right? How these mental, emotional, spiritual things can be stored in the body, right? Um, you've over the years have experimented with so many different healing modalities too. So you can like talk to people about it. Like I tell people about combo back in the day. You did combo.
So,
Is that at the retreats at all?
so no, that we don't do that at a retreat because it's a little intense.
Yeah.
What happened to me was I have a friend who's a medicine man,
Yeah.
and I don't call them shaman because there's a whole thing, there's a misuse of the
Yeah.
word shaman.
Yeah. It's been
It's been prostituted a
appropriated.
little
Yeah.
bit, and there's a epidemic of shamanella. Everybody's a shaman these
Oh my
days,
gosh. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Everyone has the wide brim hats walking around all in white.
so I prefer to call him medicine man,
Yeah.
right? So this is a medicine man, and he handles different types of plant medicine and
Yeah.
animal medicine. One of the animal medicines he handles is cambo.
Mhm.
Cambo is the poison, it's a neurotoxic poison that is excreted by a green frog in the Amazon.
Mhm.
That when you extract not extract, but collect this
Mhm.
poison, then you burn the skin of the patient
Mhm.
and you apply the poison on the skin.
Mhm.
It goes right through into the lymphatic system,
Mhm.
and it causes a violent reaction of the immune system with
Mhm.
vomiting and diarrhea, and your face puffs up
Yeah.
like a frog,
Yeah.
and you do that for 3 days during a lunar cycle,
Mm.
right? So these are things that are the instructions of
The medicine man
the medicine men
and
back
women. Yeah.
back in the Amazon
Mhm.
thousands of years ago.
Mhm.
And a friend of mine is a medicine man for Cambo. And a few years ago, he came to visit me, and I was in a bad state.
Mhm.
I was going through a divorce, and I was in a wheelchair. I had an accident. I was pretty messed up.
Yeah.
And he said to me, "You will need to do Cambo." I said, "What is Cambo?" So he explained to me, and he said that this poison was used for thousands of years in the Amazon to detoxify all kinds of things,
Mm.
viruses, bacteria. When the white man came to the Amazon and infected all these
Mm.
natives with all these viruses and bacteria, it was through Cambo that they got rid of it.
Wow.
And they even talk about Cambo dispelling something called panema, which is your bad luck and bad karma, as it were.
Mhm.
So very, very
Yeah.
interesting. Being
Yeah.
used now in Silicon Valley
Yeah.
by
And it's technically not a psychedelic, right? I mean, I've
it,
lumped into that, but it's really not.
it's not absolutely zero psychedelic effect.
Yeah.
You just vomit, shit, and sweat.
We're selling it really hard right now.
Yeah, yeah. But I've seen some I mean, definitely more studies are needed and more observation is needed. But I went there to observe
Yeah.
what's been done for thousands of years,
Yeah. To experience what it's
and
all about.
what I witnessed really impressed me.
Yeah. What are any other out of the box, lesser known, about these things that most people don't know about, these sort of ancient healing modalities? Any other ones that stick out over your years of experimenting with these things or learning more about these things?
Well, I've been learning about ibogaine.
Just tell people about that.
Ibogaine it comes from the root, no, not the root, from the bark of a tree, the iboga tree from Gabon.
Mm-hmm.
It's used by the Bwiti tribe in coming of age ceremonies and sacrament.
Mm-hmm.
You take this powder, which is a mixture of like 19 alkaloids that give you a very, very strong hallucinogenic effect.
Mm.
And the type that is described most frequently
Mm-hmm.
is one in which you review your whole life
Mm.
from a point of view of compassion. You see what you did to everybody, you see what was done to you
Yeah.
from everybody from a very compassionate point of view, and kind of, and you see it in like a 3D movie.
Yeah.
So I never had, I tried ibogaine a couple of times. I never had that kind of experience.
Mm.
But one of the things that ibogaine is known for is as a addiction interrupter.
Mm.
It kind of shifts your
Neurochemistry, maybe.
neurochemical connections and synapses for a few months, and breaks the addiction.
Yeah. Wow. So these are things that obviously there's still, like you mentioned, more studies, more research. The accessibility for these type of things they're not very available widespread. You have to like know a guy, right? You have to know the right medicine man. I mean, what's any advice for people out there like, this sounds interesting? How can they learn about these modalities?
Oh, I've seen them go like wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of offers out there, and the warning goes, be careful, because always, as with everything,
Mm-hmm.
you need to do these things with people that understand, that
Yeah.
know, that respect,
Mm-hmm.
that have experience.
Yeah. And some state, if a certain psychedelic, depending on what you're talking about, some of these things are regulated. I would look at MAPS for a resource. If you're familiar with them, they're doing a lot of psychedelic research. And,
Yeah, I think they're great.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? Any other? I mean, people are eating this up right now as they're listening to this. Any other healing modalities that you feel like more people should learn about?
There's a bunch of stuff, but when I'm with you and sharing your platform,
Mm-hmm.
I always say, let's tell people more about God.
Yeah.
And let's not let it be just like a fashion thing,
Yeah.
like it was with Detox.
Yeah.
And Detox came and went, and people don't really understand what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that really understanding how the gut gets broken and how to create the conditions to repair it
Mm-hmm.
is probably the most significant thing we can do from an impact
Mm-hmm.
point of view in
Mm-hmm.
health
Mm-hmm.
and humanity at this moment in the world.
Yeah.
And that's how much I think is important.
Yeah. So you feel like, and I agree with this, is that until we really give the human gut, your individual gut, but even as a society, until we address gut health, we are going to be it's going to be an uphill battle at best.
We're not going to get the results that we want.
Yeah.
We're going to be treating on this one the hormones, on that one the nerves, on that one giving them more iron, on that one. But if the gut is broken,
Yeah,
the systems are not working.
Mm-hmm. So what's like a day in the life if they're doing the clean protocol, sun up to sundown? Like, what take me through a day on clean?
So when you're on the program, it's really simple.
Yeah.
Because we provide everything. I created this kit that people can use to do it in a very simple, user-friendly way.
Yeah.
You have your shakes.
It comes in a nice box.
You have your shakes, user-friendly with all the... But basically, it's a shake and some pills in the morning for breakfast.
And the shake is so much, right? I mean, it is like a medicine cabinet in and of itself, just with the shake. They don't know they're getting all these medicines.
Well, you're getting all the protein that the liver needs in order to do all its detox work. You're getting all the minerals. You're getting the vitamins. You're getting probiotics. You're getting everything you need.
Yeah,
we thought of every single angle.
Yeah.
So you do a shake in the morning with some pills. Then you do regular lunch, which is different from many programs, because many programs, they have their own smoothies or their own soups or things. This one, you have a regular lunch, just that there's a list of foods that you can and that you cannot eat, and there's a few supplements, and then the dinner is a shake. So shake, lunch, shake is basically every day of the clean program.
Yeah.
And then there's many things in the middle,
And there's meal plan ideas for the lunch, right? I mean, you make it easy. But what's like a typical lunch you would recommend on a clean protocol?
A piece of protein with some vegetables, fish in a salad, a steak in a salad, a steak and a sweet potato. I mean, the possibilities are really endless.
Yeah, I love it. Speaking about gut health, you and I have obviously talked about this offline before. I don't know if we've ever talked about this in public before, but when Gwyneth came on, Gwyneth is how I know Gwyneth is largely due to this guy right here. And she came on the podcast and we were talking about gut health. We were talking about rectal ozone somehow came up, as it does if I had a nickel. And I mean, people thought it was me that was like talking rectal ozone. No, it was Dr. Alejandro Junger, where we collaborate on people.
When I saw your posts and I thought they were so cool, the first thing I did is I called Gwyneth. I said, Gwyneth, I found a guy. This guy is amazing. She looked at your post and she said, oh my God, I love it. Get to know him. So I got to know you, and then she wanted you to meet you. So I brought you on.
Yeah.
And then you started the whole. By that time, I had already given Gwyneth ozone generator.
Yes.
That she had in her house with an oxygen tank.
Yeah.
That she could convert to ozone. And this is, I'm talking about 2007, 2008, we were using these things.
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah. So, I mean, people have a lot. I mean, what is ozone for people that don't know? And there's different ways to use ozone, and we use it for telehealth patients as well. But yeah, break it down for people that are like, what's ozone? What does it do?
Oxygen comes in two molecules, O2. Two atoms of oxygen form a molecule of O2. When you add a third atom of oxygen to that molecule, it's O3. That is called ozone. But that third union is unstable and it's very volatile. So when this gas goes into your blood or into a tissue and enters contact with anything, a bacteria, a virus, that third oxygen just kind of leaves, and the energy that's causing that bind is released. It's like an ultra high voltage shock.
Yeah. It's cleansing.
So it kills bacteria, viruses, cancer cells. It's antioxidant. It kind of promotes osteocytes and cell repair cells.
It's almost like a hormetic effect in a way, huh?
It's amazing.
Yeah. And people conventional world has done, certain countries are more, I think, advanced in ozone research than others. I mean, we're so kind of behind in the States when it comes to this. I don't know why it's
The
so
pioneers were
fringe.
the French and the and the His-
Spanish.
and the Spanish.
Yeah.
And I was just in Argentina with an 84-year-old surgeon who in the 70s was studying ozone in France with these surgeons, and they started injecting ozone in between vertebrae for disc problems.
Wow.
And I just got it done myself.
That's right. For
in
people,
South America.
Tell everybody about it.
Yeah, I had 5 years of severe back pain.
Mm-hmm.
I tried everything: acupuncture, massage, rolfing. I mean, hands-on healing.
Yeah, stems. Did you get stem cells?
Whatever you want. You know, prayer.
Yeah. You did. Yeah.
I tried everything
You tried
because
everything.
I did not want to have surgery.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I said, finally, I'm just going to have surgery. So I had scheduled my surgery for after my retreat.
Mm-hmm.
But during the retreat, I met this woman that works with the body, and she said, "Listen, I think I can help you injecting ozone in between your vertebrae." And she did that, and 5 years of excruciating pain were over in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Wow. So you have no back pain.
I have no back pain.
It's amazing.
I don't need any surgery.
I mean, it's a blessing.
I'm just in heaven.
Yeah. Well, that just shows you, like, hopefully these type of out of the box things that have there's normally a lot of red tape. There's a lot of, I think, unnecessary subjugation of certain healing modalities because it's maybe seen as competition to the pharmaceutical industries. Hopefully a lot of that stuff can go away, and like a free form of ideas without special interests can, like, let's have whatever the most effective option with the least amount of side effects. That should be the litmus test, right?
Yes.
Not what can make a certain industry more money.
Yeah.
What's most effective?
Well, listen, something has to give and come to an end with this whole industrialization of medicine and making it to a business. And I mean, people are fed up with it.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Well, it's sick care, right? It's like, it's one thing if it's an industry that actually heals, but it's an industry that manages diseases.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm very optimistic that there's going to be some
well, something has to change. Something.
Yes.
It's unsustainable. This has been great. So as you know, the podcast is called The Art of Being Well. You know, you've been on the pod before. I'm going to just throw out a few other questions for people to get to know more about you and health. What is a supplement that is it's a non-negotiable for you? It's like an essential supplement that you take on a regular basis.
Well, there's one that I consider more like a medication than a supplement, which is vitamin D3.
Okay.
And I take it all the time. You know, I always say that with all, most, if not all supplements, I take breaks. I cycle. With vitamin D3, I take it all the time.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things.
Yeah. I like that you almost consider it like a medication in that way.
Yeah.
Why is that? Just because it's something you take?
Because
every day.
I've come to be convinced that it is an important hormone.
Yeah.
And that the things that it's involved in are crucial for us.
Yeah,
know?
Thousands. Like every cell of our body has
defense,
receptor site.
Nerves.
Yeah, mood,
mood,
longevity, heart health. Yeah. What's somewhere you haven't traveled to that's on your bucket list, or some, a place that you really want to visit and be?
The Arab countries.
Yeah. I'm surprised you haven't been. Like Dubai.
I've been.
Yeah.
I've been. I've had patients there.
Yeah.
I've treated people there.
Yeah.
But I haven't been exploring.
Got it.
And I consider. I would love to think of myself as a little bit like Anthony Bourdain of medicine.
That is really good. Yeah.
Instead of traveling around trying restaurants, I'm traveling around trying healers.
I love that.
And healing modalities.
Well, you have to pick up this. I mean, you have some amazing ideas that you want to put this out there. Is it going to happen? I mean, do you have any news to share?
I don't have any news to share right now, but one of the places that there's so much to discover is the Arab countries.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And in terms of medicine and ancient medicine.
Indigenous medicines around the world, for sure.
Yes.
And there, absolutely. What's somewhere that you have been to that should be on other people's bucket list that's maybe under recognized?
Obviously, India.
You've been many times.
I lived there for 2 years at one point in a monastery, and I've gone there many, many, many times.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody should go to India at least once in their lifetime.
Which part, if they had to, like, it's a massive country, so where would you start? At least go to this one place in India.
I would start at Rishikesh.
Okay.
Where the Ganges is born, up there where the Beatles were meditating with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Some stories over there are epic.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. What is? I may have asked you this before, but maybe you have a new food. What is the worst tasting healthy food that you eat? You don't do it for the taste; you do it for the health benefits, the health science.
Wow, that's a good question. One that I tasted recently is noni fruit.
Oh, yeah.
It tastes...
Yeah, how would you describe that?
Disgusting. Yeah. It tastes like vomit.
Yeah, it's like vomitus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and what is the benefits? I mean, it's high in vitamin C. What are some of the other benefits?
I've heard so many benefits. I don't even know that I want to repeat them in case they're not true. But listen,
it's a superfood.
It's a superfood, and it's been talked about for thousands of years.
Yeah, for sure. What is do you do any sort of biohacks or wellness tools on a consistent basis? Do you have any favorites? Well, I know of some that you used to do. You used to do the contrast there. I'll answer this question for you. You do sauna and cold plunge. You've been doing contrast therapy for years, like way before anybody ever talked about this.
I did that this morning before coming here. The one thing that I do is I'm constantly playing with my attention. So I'm as much as I can and as much as I remember, I attempt to put some of my attention somewhere in the present. Like, for example, as we speak now, put some of my attention on my hands. So feel my hands.
Yeah.
Which you don't really have to do if you're just talking. But if you do, it adds,
yeah.
And you're putting your attention there. So you're anchoring your attention in the present.
Yes.
And as long as you do that, you become more present.
Yeah. It's an anchor.
It's an anchor.
Yeah.
So I use these anchors to the present all day long.
Love that.
All day long. And sometimes I'm even slow because, I'm feeling my feet. I can't
it's
move
not
that.
a dramatic pause. I'm showing his feet,
fast,
okay?
Yeah? So, but I think it's really important because the more anchored you are in the present, the less interpretation and
mind chatter. Yeah. It's like breath awareness, inner body awareness, present moment awareness. These are all anchors, right? Any other ones that you like? Breath's a great way, right? Because it's like you're something that's unwilled.
Well, I listen to everything that's happening. Like right now, I don't know if you can listen. There's like a little water thing going on.
Yeah. What is that right now?
I don't know what it is, but it's there.
Yeah.
So I see everything. So for example, I look at you, but I also see my model. I see the microphone. I see without having to look at it.
Yeah.
I notice everything willingly.
Yeah.
I make a point of it.
Yeah.
I feel my body, different parts. So seeing, hearing, and feeling really anchors me.
Yeah. Something that Eckhart Tolle talks about, he talks about all of this stuff, which is like practical tips. I recommend everybody to like listen to the audiobook, read his books, The Power of Now or New Earth. He talks about making the present moment your friend and not an obstacle or an enemy, which is what you're saying right there. Because so many people make it a means to an end versus the end in and of itself, the present moment. And they need to like renegotiate their relationship with the present moment. Because so many of us are looking for the next thing, right? Versus just being rooted in the here and now.
Yes.
It's wise stuff. And people, this will shift your physiology. Can you tell everybody? I mean, this sort of mental, emotional mindset shifts your physiology into more of a parasympathetic state, talking about gut health. But
well, let's put this example. Right now, I have my hand here. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to activate the nerve that goes from my brain to the tip of my finger by deciding that I'm going to measure the temperature and the humidity, right? So I don't even need to look at it. I have all this machinery inside, right? And what I'm doing is I'm putting my attention, and there's a nerve going all the way here and all the way back here, which is now sending electricity back and forth.
Yeah.
That electricity is causing molecular changes.
Yeah.
So already there is a physiologic chemical change just by using one of your functions in the simplest of ways.
Simplest of ways. It's powerful. And we're recording this at the time at this time of recording. It's around the holiday season, and I'm so excited that you're gonna spend some of the holiday with me with my crazy family.
I love it.
Are you prepared for this?
I'm prepared. Totally
42
prepared.
of my family, direct family members, they're so excited to meet you.
I love it.
And Solomon, my son, who knows you, he loves you, and he's flying in. He's at college right now. He's so excited to hang out with you.
The only bad thing is I thought we were all going to be dressed like Outlander.
Next time. But you can show up in a kilt. No one will shame you.
but I think I'm going to have fun anyway.
For people that don't know, my wife is a massive Outlander fan, so we have Outlander parties, 18th century Scottish parties.
There's a new season.
I know. Started. We're deep in it. Do you watch it?
No, I've watched it until season 5. Now I have to catch up.
You have to catch up. It's great. There's a lot of secret Outlander fans. I had Elle McPherson on the podcast, and she started telling me about all her favorite episodes. Her and her partner watch it. So yeah, Outlander Nation stars.
Amazing.
Should be sponsored on this podcast by now. My friend, where do people go? Where do people go to learn about all these amazing things you're doing?
Dr. Alejandro Junger, MD. Cleanprogram.com. My books, Clean Gut, Clean 7, Clean Eats.
Love it. What's your favorite? If you had to pick your favorite book, it's like picking your favorite kid. But what would you pick?
My first book is my favorite book.
Yeah, like your firstborn.
Yeah, it is.
Love it. My friend, love you. Come back anytime.
All right, puppy.